Have you ever noticed a woman lightly touching your arm while talking to you and then wondered, was that just a friendly gesture or was there something more behind it? Because sometimes the smallest actions reveal the biggest emotions. A quick touch on your arm can last less than a second, but psychologically, that tiny moment can communicate comfort, trust, connection, or even curiosity. But here's the interesting part. Not every touch means attraction. The real meaning depends on the situation, her personality, your relationship, and the emotions happening in that moment. Today, we're going to uncover 7 psychological reasons why a woman might touch your arm, and by the end, you'll understand the hidden signals behind one of the most subtle forms of communication. Because sometimes people say more with their body language than they ever say with words. Think about this. You're having a normal conversation with a woman. Maybe you're telling a story, making her laugh, or sharing an opinion. Suddenly, she reaches out and lightly touches your arm. It feels natural, almost automatic, but your brain immediately starts analyzing it. Why did she do that? Was she comfortable with me? Was she trying to create a connection? The reason this moment stands out is because human beings are naturally sensitive to physical cues. A touch creates a psychological response. It can make people feel noticed, connected, and emotionally closer. But understanding it requires looking deeper, because the same action can have completely different meanings depending on the emotional context. So let's explore the psychology behind it. Number 1, she feels comfortable around you. One of the most common reasons a woman touches your arm is simple. She feels comfortable. Comfort is one of the strongest foundations of human connection. When someone feels relaxed around you, their body language becomes more open, they stop creating distance, they naturally move closer, they use more expressive gestures, and sometimes that includes small touches. Imagine you're talking with a woman who usually keeps a little distance from people. She listens carefully, she laughs at your jokes, she maintains eye contact, and during the conversation, she briefly touches your arm while making a point. That touch may not be a dramatic romantic signal, it may simply mean, I feel safe talking to you. Psychologically, comfort lowers barriers. When people trust someone, their body often reflects that trust before their words do. The key is not to focus on one single touch. Look at the entire pattern. Does she seem relaxed around you? Does she enjoy being near you? Does she continue conversations instead of looking for an excuse to leave? The touch is only one piece of the puzzle. Number 2, she is trying to create a connection. Sometimes a woman touches your arm because she wants to make the interaction feel more personal. Think about the difference between these two situations. Someone tells you a story while standing far away with a closed posture. Another person tells you the same story, but they lean slightly closer, smile, and briefly touch your arm while sharing an emotional moment. The second interaction feels different. Why? Because physical gestures can increase emotional connection. In psychology, humans often use touch as a way to communicate warmth. A small touch can silently say, I'm present with you. I'm engaged in this conversation. I want this moment to feel more personal. For example, imagine she says, you won't believe what happened to me today. Then she lightly touches your arm while laughing. That moment creates a sense of shared experience. It turns a simple conversation into a more emotionally connected interaction. But remember, connection does not always equal romantic interest. Sometimes people naturally communicate warmly with those they enjoy being around. The important thing is to notice whether this behavior is unique toward you or something she does with everyone. Number 3, she wants to emphasize something she is saying. Have you ever noticed how people use their hands when they are passionate about a topic? When emotions become stronger, body language becomes stronger too. A woman might touch your arm simply to emphasize her words. For example, no, seriously, you have to try that restaurant. Or, listen, I really mean this. The touch becomes a way of adding emotional weight to the message. It's like putting an exclamation mark at the end of a sentence. This happens because humans naturally use movement to express intensity. When someone is excited, surprised, amused, or passionate, their body often becomes more expressive. So if she touches your arm while explaining something, pay attention to her emotional state. Is she excited? Is she laughing? Is she trying to make sure you understand her point? Sometimes the meaning is not hidden attraction. Sometimes the meaning is simply, I want you to feel the importance of what I'm saying, and that's still a sign of engagement. Number 4, she is testing your reaction. Now this one is interesting. Sometimes people use small gestures to see how another person responds, not in a manipulative way, but as a natural social behavior. Humans constantly read reactions. When someone changes their behavior slightly, they often notice what happens next. A woman might briefly touch your arm and subconsciously observe, do you become uncomfortable? Do you smile? Do you stay relaxed? Do you respond warmly? Your reaction gives her information. Think about it. If someone opens the door for a deeper conversation, they usually want to know if the other person welcomes it. Body language works the same way. A small gesture can be a way of checking emotional comfort, but here is where many people make mistakes. They overreact, they suddenly become nervous. They assume the touch has a huge meaning, and that changes the entire energy of the interaction. The most attractive response is usually confidence and calmness. Notice the moment, enjoy the conversation, but don't immediately create a story in your mind. Number 5, she is showing appreciation or support. Not every meaningful touch is about attraction. Sometimes it is about kindness. Imagine you're telling her about a difficult day. She listens, she understands, and she gently touches your arm while saying, "Hey, everything will be okay." That touch is communicating support. Humans use comforting gestures to show empathy. A small physical gesture can communicate, "I understand. I'm listening. You're not alone." This is especially common when someone feels emotionally connected to another person. The mistake many people make is assuming every touch has a romantic meaning. But emotional intelligence means understanding the full picture. A person can care about you without having romantic feelings. A person can enjoy your company without secretly wanting a relationship. Understanding the difference helps you read situations more accurately. Number 6, she feels excited or emotionally energized around you. Have you ever noticed that when people feel excited, they become more expressive? They laugh more, they move more, they talk faster, their body language becomes more alive. A woman who enjoys being around you may naturally become more expressive during conversations. A touch on your arm could simply be part of that emotional energy. Maybe you made her laugh. Maybe you surprised her with an interesting idea. Maybe she feels genuinely engaged in the moment. The brain connects positive emotions with the people who create those emotions. When someone consistently feels good around another person, they often become more open. They seek more interaction. They show more warmth. The touch itself is not the entire message. The bigger message is the emotional experience happening around it. Ask yourself, how does she act when she's around me? Does she seem happier, more relaxed, more interested? The overall pattern matters more than one action. Number 7, she may be showing personal interest. Now we reach the reason many people are curious about. Sometimes a woman touching your arm can be a sign of personal interest, especially when it happens alongside other signals. For example, she frequently starts conversations. She remembers small details about you. She looks for opportunities to spend time with you. She smiles when she sees you. She seems genuinely curious about your life. When multiple signals appear together, the meaning becomes stronger. Psychologists often look at clusters of behavior rather than isolated actions. One behavior alone can be misunderstood, but several consistent behaviors can reveal a pattern. A touch combined with emotional connection, attention, and positive body language may suggest she feels something more. But the healthiest approach is balance. Don't assume, don't ignore, simply observe. Because confidence comes from understanding, not guessing. Now here's something most people miss. The most important signal is not the touch itself, it's the feeling behind it. Two people can perform the exact same action for completely different reasons. One person touches your arm because they are naturally friendly. Another person does it because they feel a deeper connection. The difference is the emotional environment. Pay attention to how often it happens, when it happens, whether she behaves differently around you compared to others, whether her words match her actions, because real communication is not found in one tiny moment. It is found in repeated patterns. So when a woman touches your arm, don't immediately jump to conclusions. Instead, become more aware. Maybe she feels comfortable. Maybe she's creating a connection. Maybe she's showing support. Maybe she's expressing interest. The goal is not to decode every tiny movement like a secret message. The goal is to understand human behavior with more awareness. Because attraction, trust, and connection are rarely created by one action. They are built through hundreds of small moments, a smile, a conversation, a shared laugh, a comfortable silence, and sometimes a simple touch on your arm. If you enjoyed this psychology breakdown, make sure to subscribe for more videos about human behavior, emotional connection, and the hidden signals people show every day. And let me know in the comments. Have you ever experienced a moment where a small gesture revealed more than words? I'd love to hear your story.